Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we're going to be going through a review of the Genzler Magellan Preamp. It's an analog bass preamp that sounds amazing. It's actually earned a spot on my pedal board. I'm not understanding why more people aren't talking about it, but before we get to bragging on it and all that good stuff and how amazing it sounds and all the features, let's just hear my bass without it. Even though we already stopped. Let's go. So that's my bass without it. And here it is with everything just flat. Um, and just the preamp. This is just turning it on. So as you can see, just kicking it on, it just sounds amazing. So I'm gonna go. I don't do the turn the individual knob stuff, type stuff. But um, one thing just right off the break, you got a couple filters that you need to be aware of how they work. To get the best out of it. So you got this high pass filter here in the middle. You know, and what this does is it cuts out some of those frequencies that aren't really that are kind of just making the speakers your bass and speakers work a little harder, and not really as audible as things above a certain frequency. Typically, for bass, I do a high pass of everything above 30. So, I let all the frequencies above 30 hertz go through, even when I'm mixing and stuff like that. So that helps keep my mix a little cleaner and, lets me have some sub frequency stuff. Unless I'm using some sub stuff, like, I'm talking about just bass guitar. Um, so I'll usually set my knob like that, something like that. It's when it's all the way down, it's set to 25. Is that 20? Yeah, it's set to 25 hertz. So I usually set it somewhere like that. You know, you ain't got to be too surgical with it because it's just cutting a little. It's not cutting really any booty. Watch this. Watch this. But what you can't see if you were looking at an EQ and is running like say you have Logic or something, um, you can see the EQ as you're playing each note, and if you turn that knob, you'll see that the frequencies below that, whatever point you're setting it to, are greatly decreased, but they're not like it's not a complete high pass filter, so it's only giving you it's only cutting out a little bit of it, like it's only cutting it down a few dBs, so just so the speakers don't have to work as hard. Um, but they still, and it actually, and what that does is it actually allows your speakers to work more efficiently, and allows them to push out more sound, and it actually makes the preamp sound so much bigger because the speakers aren't trying to fiddle with as much low end as they usually are dealing with. Not even low end. I say sub frequencies that aren't really, that really a lot of the bass amps aren't even pushing through it like that. It's just making the speakers move more and work harder without getting an actual result from it. So, um, yeah, turn that like that. I usually turn my bass somewhere like that. What's that about 1:30, 2 o'clock? You know what I'm saying? Because this thing adds some ton of weight. Watch this. Woo. Just adding the just adding the bass knob and the high pass filter, and you got a crazy nice sound right there. Say you wanted to scoop it out a little bit. Um, your mid frequency knob there, you got that. You can choose anywhere between 150 hertz, killer with 150 hertz and mm, excuse me, 2.8 kilohertz, which is 2800, 2800 hertz, whatever. Um, so I like to do mine. If you're watching in my video, I like to do mine around 250, and I usually cut around that area around 250, 220, sometimes 300. Anywhere up from 220 to 500, I might cut. A lot of times using different, depending on the type of head it is or the preamp, just because that gets me to my sound a lot closer, and then the rest of it I usually do with my bass. Um, but yeah, because I mean, even still, if I was gonna do finger style, let me see, let me turn this back flat, the mids back flat real quick. But I would just pull my mids knobs out and my mid knob, my mid knob out, and you know change the mid. as you can see, it just adds so much character without adding. It's so transparent, but it adds so much character. It's weird. It's a weird type of thing. It's not the same as, like, I have an SUT, and I also have an Aguilar AG preamp, and WTDI, got Harkey, TC Electronic, a BA 210 over there. I got plenty of preamps, plus the digital ones I have in my B6 or MS60B, things like that, as well as Amplitude 5 and things like that. So I got a ton of different, digital and analog preamps. But this one in particular, it adds something sparkle special to your sound. It just adds a little bit of. It's hard to explain. I'm not sure why it doesn't color it, but it adds so much to it. They did some magic with it, so I love it. Here we go. So yeah, it just this train's so much fire, dog. You can add you some highs in there, some treble. It really brings out that, like, piano texture in with, like, these stainless steel strings. Like, I use Diodario Pro Steels. Those are great strings, by the way. Um, but so they have, like, a very piano type sound, like, especially when you slap. But but this preamp really allows it to the strings and the bass to really shine, like the tone of it. It's joint crazy. I can't wait to take it on some different stuff. Definitely going on some records for sure. So now the last little feature of this amp, not a little feature, but another amazing feature of this amp that I is these filters here. So you've been listening to it without the filter so far. So the one on the left is a scoop, and the other one on the right is a frowny face, basically EQ. So if you don't know what those are, one of them scoops out the mids, and one of them pretty much accentuates the mids. So, of course, the more you turn it, the more the more dramatic the effect is, and you can't turn them off. I wish they just let it go be a 3-click. That if they had made that switch a 3-click, it would have been perfect. Just like they could have made this a 3-click, and allowed you to bypass it. So, adding another light here, and making this 3 clicks would have been way better. I'm not gonna lie. But sound wise, it's amazing, and it's built like a tank too. It's nice, solid metal. Feels really, it is a bigger preamp. It's about the size. It's about the same size as the SGT, DI. The ampeg SGT DI. So they're both bigger than the AG preamp. The AG preamp is the smallest out of those three. The AG and the Eden WTDI, those are like smaller than the Magellan and the SGT. So, but let's get back to these filters. So I'm gonna put it around 9 o'clock on the scoop. Let's go. So let's go up to 12 o'clock. Going up to 3 o'clock. So personally, I like it around 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. Yeah. So now the other one. So flat. So this is the frowny face one. This one I use. I like to set both of these up, like so I can flip back and forth. Have one more for finger style, and I can leave this EQ. I leave my EQ like that, um, and then I just use the filters to switch the actual sound of it, if that makes sense. So because that this filter also, it feels like it kind of cuts the lows and the highs a bit and accentuates the mids, and so it gives you more mids and cuts that the extremes. Um, and I really like that about that, so I can kind of use that for like my solo channel when I want to do a lot of my stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then have my have it flip back and forth and be um like my slap and pop channel or my playing bass channel. This be my playing bass channel. This be my solo channel. You know what I'm saying? I kind of use it like that. Or this be my finger style. If I'm on like a gig where I'm not really soloing, this would be my finger style, and this would be my slap and pop. And and between those two, I can, because it has those two filters, I can literally use this for any gig and just be switching back and forth and not have to worry about switching preamps. I actually don't have to switch preamps when I'm using this one as my main one, so which is awesome because I can just switch the filters and I can go from slapping to finger style and not have to worry about it. And then in mid song too, and not change my tonality as much because a lot of times, um, depending on the type of gig. So if I'm playing a jazz gig, I actually prefer the Aguilar AG preamp for that. For that, if I'm doing a straight up slap and pop gig, which is very rare, it's, I mean, not every. I do funk gigs, but it's not just funk. It's always a mixture of stuff I do. A lot of times. So, um, the you know the Magellan and the Eden definitely for the slapping is crazy. The SGT does a great job at the slapping as well, but for the Eden and the Magellan are my slap sounds for sure. Eden WTDI. The Aguilar preamp is like my jazz sound. Um, just it just makes my bass sound very natural, which a lot of times jazz is played with an upright or things like that. So it definitely helps keep me in the natural. Because I play if you play an amplified instrument, it's not something about having an instrument that sounds in the room. It's just a different feel when if you ever around a good upright player, you'll know what I'm saying. Like it just, you can feel it in the room, and the AG helps you with that. But I use my SGTDI for like my rock sounds or just my bigger, more aggressive, needing grit to the sound. But this Magellan here, yeah. So let's start with it flat, or what the EQ is gonna be how I had it before. This is my standard EQ right here. let's put that at about 9 o'clock. I'm going to turn this one back flat just to keep it out the way. Turning it up to 12 o'clock. Going up to 3 o'clock. All the way up. Flat. Oh, no. Well, without the filter. And here's with it all the way on. So as you can see, even when they're all the way up, the one thing I do love about these filters is they always stay super musical. They still, even usually filters like this, when they're all the way up like this, they are so unusable. And it's just such a sound that you're like, I'm never going to be able to use that. But even when the scoop one, is a little more extreme up top. Let's hear that back and forth between that and without it. Without it. So, with it. Oh, well, we just did with it. So you get to hear with it and without it. So let's go on. Now let's see how it pushes a amp. I mean, yeah, an actual power amp. Let's see. Um, yeah, I'm gonna use the. I am. I'm gonna use this Harkey TX 600 as the power amp, and let me see. Let me turn this on. Oh, use this as a power amp. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use this TC Electronic 410s with a tweeter, BC 410s for tweeter. All right, let's see what I got here. And we're gonna turn these IRs off and the compressor off. So bam. Number 6. So um this is um without the preamp, just my bass running straight into the power amp section. And I am miking this with a CAD D10 kick mic, basic cheap kick mic you can get from Amazon or anywhere. About $30. Don't cost a lot, but you can use that. It give you a decent sound as well. But let's kick on the preamp. And let me get out this let me get this where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Let me hook up this Zoom H5 real quick. That way we can get at least two different mic sources. Let's move this over. Okay, so we're not gonna be able to do the H5 right now because I'm already started recording, so it's not gonna let me. But I'll make sure from now on I have that. But I'm gonna actually mix that kick mic and matter of fact, let me see if I can get this up and running. It's H5 here. Hey, got it running. Let's go. Got the H5. All right, bet. All right, here we go. I just moved the H5 well 6 inches forward. So if you want more bass, if you if you want more bass, you put the mic closer. If you want less bass and want more a little bit more of the room or a little bit more definition, you can move the mic back, and that'll give you a little less bass and more detail to the sound. Just depends on what you want. Um, so, for instance, eh, I'm gonna move the kick mic back. And I mind you guys, I know you didn't really come for a mic tutorial, but here's a little tips. Some little tips while you're hanging out with me. All right. Now I'm gonna move that mic closer. This preamp sounds really good, yo. This joint sounds so good. And here's how I would do the finger style. I would have it set up like that. And let's switch this. So as you can see, switching the mics, positioning the mics, all that stuff plays a part. But having a great preamp is going to sound good regardless. You can go straight. You can mix those sounds as well. So say I wanted to mix in a bit of the dry, the actual sound going straight to the console as well. I can mix with the CAD mic, and if I was going to do that, I'd primarily run it mostly with the DI signal and just a little bit of that mic in there. Actually, about to add a nice little bit. Let me see. So I can run it that way, or I can run the cabinet sound as the main sound, and add in the DI as just some seasoning. Switch the filters. So as you can see, just playing around with those two mixers, and even having the H5 mixed in there if you wanted to, all would make a difference. You can spread, you make it sound thicker, or whatever the case. But when you got a great preamp like this, it's all gonna sound good, and it's just gonna sound good. Don't matter. Let me see. I'm gonna run it through. I'm gonna run it through the. So we was running through the TC Electronic BC 410s. That's 410s with tweeter. I'm gonna run it through the Fender Bassman 115 Neo now. Give me 1 second, guys. And we're back. So now get a little bit of the 115 with a tweeter in there as well. So that's the D10 mic. Here is the H5, Zoom H5, which is two condenser mics in a XY configuration, pretty much pointed at it like this. So I'm mixing the DI, more the DI, so it's more DI than the H5, so it's DI and the H5 together. Yep. So you can do that. But then you also got, so if you wanted to mic it with a real cabinet, that was one option. That's one option. All right. Nope, need this right now. So now you also can run it through IRs. So I'm gonna run it through. See what I got queued up here. Run this through this. I'm running through my B6. And of course, you guys that know me know I use my B6 as like my IR loader, and I use it for compression and a little bit of flavoring at the end of my signal. So what I have is a 160 compressor on there. So it's like that DBX 160A compressor, similar. It's a emulation of that, and the threshold is set to -5. Ratio is 2.1. This set to soft knee, and volume set to 75 on that. And I have an Aguilar 410 with a tweeter IR queued up, which is two IRs at once. Actually, it's a RE20 and a SM57 on the same cabinet. And let's see what I got here for my settings on that. Lows are set to 60, the high is set to 63, balance is -11, and volume is -3.1. And I also have a pre-173 on there just for the saturation and the coloring. No EQing done with it. Gain is set to 25. Everything is set to flat though. So here's what that sounds like without the Magellan preamp. Right? Here's with the preamp. Bring down that volume. Let's bring it down from here. So as you can see, those filters make a ton of a difference. Even this low pass filter. Let me sweep up it a bit. And it's trust me, it's not redundant. I know sometimes it may seem redundant to some people, but you gotta understand it's more so. I use this to dial in the bass sound, right? You can dial in all the nice heavy bass sound you want, and I use this high pass filter to kind of tailor that to the room or to the whatever's going on. Say it's a extra boomy room, I can take out a lot of those frequencies without changing the characteristic. Because if you say you don't add that booty there, you're still gonna have to deal with those frequencies in a room. And just having a knob that can help you dial that in really helps out. Past the bass knob, because I may want that bottom still there. I don't want all my bottom gone because you see there's still a difference. So it's super musical. It's super musical, and I know it's getting you're really dialing in a particular tone at that point, but it's gonna dial it back and it's gonna make your sound. Sometimes that can make your sound way more manageable for a sound engineer, have front of house or whatever the case. Um, Especially when you running this to your amp. It sometimes it can make your amp more manageable for whoever you're dealing with as well. So, and then and everything else that's going on stage. So I really like this preamp. Like I can't stress that. It joint sounds so good. This the preamps that's been coming out lately have been crazy. The SGT, the AG, the Magellan Pre. You got amps, a few other ones that I like, but I haven't bought, gotten them yet. As y'all know, I like to, for the most part, I like to get stuff myself because then I can say what I want to say about it. I don't have to just like, what I'm saying. I recently had to do a review of a pedal I didn't really like too much. Ended up not liking too much. Wanted to like it. I don't buy anything with the intention of not liking it. That's a waste of money and time. Negativity is a waste of time. But if you get my job is to do reviews on YouTube right now. So if it ain't good, I got to give a negative review. But this is fire. It's fire. It's definitely worth the money. It'll definitely add a. It's worth adding to your arsenal 1,000%. This definitely gets my stamp of approval. So make sure you go check it out in the store near you, and it's more convenient than carrying around one of the heads. The Magellan heads. Plus the Magellan heads don't allow you to have this little foot switch here. You got your mute switch there as well. The mute switch is useful. I wouldn't want them. Only things, like I said, I would change would be um, if they maybe added an IR or something. Just one. You know, a 410 with tweeters. Be fine. You know what I'm saying? But I know everybody. That ain't everybody's preference. But you know what I'm saying? It'd be nice. But they didn't. For 300, it's all right. If they had another 100 on it, they would have had to have it. If they had another 100 on this price tag, they'd had to have the IR loaded. But they got it at a good price point where it's beautiful analog tone, just nice, warm, tight musical bass sound. Like they just it's in a room. It sounds it's so massive. Like it's a very massive sounding preamp. So definitely check it out when you get a chance. And make sure you subscribe, like, and share. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribing, you liking, and you sharing, because I need you and you need me to keep doing reviews, right? Hey, we in there. We need each other. We need each other, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Give me, subscribe, like, share. I appreciate you. But um, make sure you go to allbasscreations.bandcamp and check out my music as well. Everything from my first album to all my recent releases are out. Check out Everybody Loves the Sunshine, Back Home, Going Far. These are all my song titles, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Shameless plug. Go get that. And follow me on all social media at the Bass Niggas, and I greatly would appreciate it. Check out Fame. Um, Go to famemusic.org, and Fame is a after school and summer music program for kids in middle school and high school in the Maryland area, well, the DMV area, really, which is the District of Columbia, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Um, Check us out. And I'm one of the teachers up there. Well, not up there. We do it at various schools, and we got a few locations that they do the summer programs at, and it really helps the kids get scholarships. We help them with scholarships, everything. So, and as well as after school tutoring, all that stuff. So we help make sure the grades stay up and the music stay up. You gotta have both. But go to famemusic.org and donate. Definitely help. It will help us out with the kids. Each of those kids, they spend quite a bit of money on private lessons and things like that with instructors like myself. So I'm not cheap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I do it for the kids. But I gotta make a living too. You know what I'm saying? But I don't own Fame. I'm contracted to Fame as one of the teachers. And Fame didn't ask me to do this either. I really believe in the program, even when I'm not working with Fame. I still encourage people to donate, or if you got kids that want to audition and have some help with their musical and academic goals, go to famemusic.org, and we got auditions coming up soon as well. So this has been another episode of All Bass Creations, effects, tutorials, demos, and review. I'm the Bass Negus, Negus. Follow me on all social media and subscribe, like, and share, and I'm out. Peace.